Last year I wanted to make one YouTube video every single week and I completely failed. I had two options for this year: give up or double down. And the fact that you're watching this video, the fact that this video exists, is evidence that I chose option 2, double down. This year I'm going to be making YouTube videos, but also creating music and running my business in a way that's totally new for me. It's uncharted territory. I'm going to start creating stuff like no one's watching. Good morning, YouTube. Well, obviously someone is watching. It's you. Thanks for being here. It is another freezing cold day in the Sauerland. It is, what is it, -5 out here. Haven't had snow for a bit, but the snow from a couple of weeks ago is still here. But a really heavy frost overnight. It's just been absolutely beautiful. So you get nice log piles like this, but you also get really, really beautiful trees like this. And I want to talk to you a bit today about what's going to be going on with this YouTube channel, but it's not really about YouTube, to be honest, because I'm not very experienced at that, and this is new for me. But it's really a new approach that I'm trying to take with the whole of my life, which is really create like no one is watching. Do the thing for the thing, not for the results. And that's weird for me because I am somebody who is very results driven. I help organizations build strategies and of course cascade those strategies down into KPIs and actions and numbers and results. And I've always been very proud of my ability to bring a kind of rigor to non-profit work, especially that comes from a more results driven business, and help people get success. But this year I'm doing it all the other way around. I'm a bit bored of focusing on results, and I'm going to try much harder to focus on enjoying the process. So let's start off by talking nearly went then. Let's start off by talking about why I wasn't consistent last year with my uploads and why I basically just wasn't very happy with the outputs. And let's be clear, I'm not really sure if that's reflected in the amount of followers I got on the channel, which is minimal, and the amount of views I got on the channel, which is minimal. That might just be how it works with YouTube, just starting off. But I wasn't really happy with the videos, and I definitely wasn't consistent. And here's the reasons why. The first one was I was just really inconsistent at making them. That was just a problem. I fell out of a routine, couldn't quite get a rhythm going. I was trying different things every week. I wasn't really thinking who my audience was. I was messing around with formats. I was messing around with everything basically. So I just wasn't consistent in my idea of who I was making videos for, what I wanted to talk about. And I think that's natural at the beginning of any new project. You want to experiment, see what works, and then double down on the things that you're excited about or the things that work for an audience. The second thing though, this was maybe more of a problem, especially for someone like me, is that I got really bored. I got really bored of making YouTube videos. I was making kind of quasi-educational content, just wasn't really into it. I have a whole video back on the channel that I made at the start of this year about that, so I won't over-labour the point. But if I'm bored, I fall out of love with something really quickly. And thirdly, I just didn't really feel like I found my authentic voice. And I know this is such an overused phrase in creating and content in YouTube generally, but I really didn't feel like I was actually talking about what I wanted to talk about. So I was inconsistent, I was bored, and I didn't really find my voice. And this year, that's all going to change. So this year I've decided upon 3 rules for myself: be consistent, be creative, and be real. That consistency for me is vital, but I have to change a lot of things in my video making workflow to get there, and actually my workday kind of more generally. I've written down some notes here just so you know what I'm looking at. So the consistency thing is going to start with me creating a Kanban list of ideas for videos. I had this last year, but it was very unwieldy. I didn't really keep up with it, and I definitely didn't spend enough time on the column that was labeled to be scripted. I had a lot of ideas and they immediately went in, just film this thing, but it didn't really manifest itself in particularly good content, I felt. And that's because I wasn't dedicating enough time to the scripting, to the ideation, to coming up with like sort of titles and thumbnails before the video, all the things that people recommend that you do. So now I'm going to be regularly writing scripts. I'm also going to be developing a more kind of creative format for myself that is also simpler. It has placeholders for putting in creative content. I know more or less the 3-act structure of the video, and I've even got templates set up on Descript to help me make those videos. So what I'm trying to do is essentially reduce the chance for error or the chance for decision-making fatigue by locking down certain things, the format, the length, the topics, and allowing myself more time to write the scripts and be creative with what I'm actually filming. Which brings me on to number 2, which is be creative. Not force myself to be creative, but just allow myself to be a bit more creative with this kind of stuff. One of those is going to be just being unafraid to put in interesting, more experimental cinematics, just still shots, time lapses, just learning the craft of filmmaking. I've never had a proper camera before. I've had this one for about 3 weeks now. I've always loved film. I attended screenwriting courses at university, but I even worked on film festivals and wanted to work into film, but never happened for me. So I'm going to mess around, learn the craft of filmmaking, whether it's vlogging or cinema, and yeah, maybe try and apply some of that in a humble and real way to these videos. I'm going to allow myself to film strange angles, to be brave enough to basically come out to somewhere like this and do the filming rather than just sit at home in front of my desk. That's also partly enabled by the new camera that I've got. The fact that I can walk around with this a lot easier and get the quality that I want is just really fantastic. Going to experiment with captions in the video, different editing, music. So we're just going to experiment a bit and play. I mean, this isn't like difficult experimental cinema of the kind that David Lynch would have been proud. You know, we're not making a Razorhead here or anything, or even sadly Twin Peaks, although to be honest this kind of area is kind of like the Twin Peaks area of Germany, I have to say. Don't tell my wife I said that. I just want to have fun, create joy and put the emphasis on that rather than spending time in YouTube Studio trying to analyse why a thumbnail took off or not. That's not really the fun part of this. The final thing then I want to do is be real, and that obviously sounds stupid from a 43-year-old man who's talking about authenticity and all this kind of stuff. But I really do, and I think part of the be real is basically stop trying to film substandard educational content, return to my vlog format that I really enjoyed actually when I first kicked off the channel, where I'm just sort of talking about my life, my business, my family, my work, my creative side, my life here in Germany, all of those things. I was just rambling for 6 minutes into a camera. I kind of want to get back to that. I'm going to ditch the scripts. I'm going to ditch recording every line 3 times and then finding the best one. I am just going to create a framework for freedom with these types of things. I'm going to talk about a lot more topics. I've been talking about YouTube a bit so far. I've also been talking about running, coaching, business, family, all of those kind of things. So 3 rules moving forward. Be consistent, be creative, and be real. That's what you can expect to see from this channel. Over there's really heavy snow falling just in that part of the valley, but not here, which is really strange, even though that's about 500 meters away. Ah, it's coming now. Funny. It's beautiful. I'm going to film some of this for you in a minute. So some of you might be wondering, what are my goals for the channel? And this is the truly revolutionary act for me, which is that I really, really don't have any goals for this channel at all. And for me, for someone like me, not looking at the metrics might be the kind of hardest thing I can do. It's really, really tough for me to kind of not do that. But there are so many other moving parts of filmmaking that I can improve upon, whether it's how good I am at talking to camera, the types of angles I'm choosing, where I choose to film, the scripts, the flow, the editing, the music, the lighting, all this stuff. I mean, there's just so much work to do there that I might as well just do it. I might as well just try and work on those things, get better at those things, under the assumption that if I do that, then I guess the numbers will go up at some point. And I do care about the numbers, of course, and wouldn't it be amazing to like get a channel that was monetized and make this into a part of my business? But I don't really care about it that much. And for the first 6 months, I just want to So the lesson of this video was supposed to be create like no one's watching, free yourself up, have fun. But I think I've got a new lesson now. It's a lesson I seem to be learning every week. Remember to charge the battery. Remember to charge the battery of your camera, Adam. Thanks for watching.